Hello guys, and welcome back to the Platformer 2D tutorial series. In this one we are just going to create our code and AI for the turret that we set up the animations for last time. So I guess I'm going to quickly explain to you what we're going to do. So here is our turret, and we're going to check if the player is a specific amount of distance from the turret, and if it is close enough, the turret will be awake. So when it is awake, it'll play the animation and the thing that we did last time, and we are going to create two green color, two triggers that'll be enabled when the turret is awake. So we have two triggers, one on the left side and the right side. And they are basically going to be used for, if we're going to use it to check if the player is in this range collider, what's it called, line of sight stuff. So when it is colliding with this, or in the trigger, it'll say to the turret that it should begin to shoot against the player. And when we get enough away from the turret, so when the max distance or the distance from the turret is big enough, it'll go to sleep again. So go to sleep. So I hope you understood it. So now we're going to begin on coding our turret. So we're going to add colliders, and the colliders that I just showed. So create a new empty game object, and we're just going to use this as our collider so the player can't go through it. And then we're going to create another one, and we're going to use this as attack range triggers. And we're going to create two more, just one duplicated when we have created the trigger. Let's call this attack range left. And first off, we're going to create the collider for our turret. So go onto this and click Add Component, Box Collider, and let's resize it so it let's see. This is fine, I guess. Yeah, it looks fine. And then we're going to create the attack range triggers. So the way we're going to do that is by clicking Add Component, and we're going to use the collider called a Polygon Collider 2D, and we're going to edit that and make it so it as I showed in the drawing. So first off, I'm just going to put another sprite on the turret so I can see where I should place the collider. So let's just use that one. Just drag it over here. It looks nice. Just going to place this correctly. That looks nice. And so now we're going to edit this. So click on the edit collider right here, and I guess we can press delete, or how do we do this? By when you hovering over one of these polygons, you can press delete and delete them. So delete two of them. No, actually, only delete. You only need 4 polygons. So we're going to click Edit Collider, and then we're going to place them like this. So it looks like some kind of range that the turret will look. So, and make sure it is set to S trigger. That looks fine. So I'm just going to duplicate this and call it attack range right, and I'm going to set the X scale to -1 So we basically invert it and place it to the right of the turret. So now we have our colliders. Now we can begin coding everything. So we're going to create a new script, and we're going to call this turret, of course. Or we'll call it turret AI. And we'll open it. I just need to open it in, what is it called? Visual Studio. Here we go. And I'll go into the script. So this is going to be a pretty long script. I can just quickly check how many lines. About 130. So yeah, you just had to know that. Alright, so let's get started. So we need a lot of variables. So I'm going to call this integers, and we're going to create two, which is called public int current health, and we're going to use this for the health of the turret. So when we do attacking, we can reduce the health of the turret and kill it. So just going to create that now, and then we're going to create our floats. So floats, and we're going to create one called public float distance, and we're going to use that to measuring the distance between the player and turret. So what we're going to use wake range for is to check if the distance is bigger or smaller than wake range. If it is bigger, then it will be asleep, the turret, and if it is smaller, it will be awake. And now we need a public float shoot interval, and we're going to use that for the turret shooting, and then public float bullet speed, and let's just set that to 100, and public float bullet timer, and we're going to use the bullet timer to make some sort of cooldown, so it doesn't shoot like 100 bullets in one frame on 1 second, because that would be weird. And now we're going to create some booleans. Public bool awake, set that equals to false, and public bool looking right. Now we're just going to need some references for bullets and target and animations and stuff. So public game object bullet, which is going to be our bullet for the turret now, and public transform target, which is going to be the player, and public animator anim, which is the animator component on our turret. So public transform shoot point left and shoot point right. So the comma here is just a shortcut of creating two transforms. You could also just do this public transform shoot point right. So we're just going to create these two, and I'll explain what we're going to use those for. So these the two shoot points is where the turret is going to shoot from. So of course one on the left and one on the right. So let's create those. So right click on the turret and create empty. It's called a shoot point left. Put it around here and duplicate it and put it to the right and rename it to shoot point right. Okay. So let's continue. now we are going to do void awake, and now we're going to reference some of our stuff. So anim will be equals to, you know the drill, get component animator animator and void start. We're just going to set the current health equals to max health. So yeah, let's get into the update function. Here we go. So the thing we are going to do now is just setting the parameters for the animator right here. So that's going to be very simple. We're just going to say anim.setBool. We're going to set awake, and that is going to be the variable awake that we just created right here. Where is it? There. And anim.setBool looking right, and that is going to be the variable we created looking right. So now we are going to create another function, and we're going to call this range check. So we're going to use this function, and we're actually just going to call this function in update. So this is going to be called every update. Okay, so range check, and we're going to create set the distance float equals to distance equal to vec3.distance, and it takes a point A and point B. So point A is going to be our transform, which is on the what is it called, turret. So transform.position, and our target transform.position, which is going to be the player. This way we're going to get the distance between those two objects in units. And so now we're going to check if distance is smaller than wake range. Then we'll set the variable awake equals to true, because the player is the range between the player and you should understand this. I'm actually bad at explaining this, but I'm trying. So now we're going to say if distance is bigger than wake range, we're going to set awake equals to false. And this should make sense to you. So let's try this out and see what happens, because we are setting the awake variable, so we're also setting the parameter in our animator. So when we get when the distance between the player and the turret is smaller than max range, it'll become awake. So let's add the script to the turret, and let's see. Wake range, let's set that to something like 8. Yeah, let's just say 8. And we get a null reference exception, unassigned reference exception. What is this? What is this? Oh my god, it opens monodevelop. But is transform target.transform. Oh, we haven't assigned the target. And that is of course going to be our player. So let's try again. See what happens. Let's just remove those into the game. And you can see our turret woke up. And when we go away, it sleeps again. Awesome, guys. So now we're going to continue. I'm just going to check how long we have been recording. 16 minutes. Maybe I'll need to split this up in 2 parts. So let's go fast. Gotta go fast. Alright, so now we are going to check if the player is to the left or to the right of the turret. So we're going to set the animation left or right. And we're going to do that in a very simple way. So let's say if target, which is our player, .transform, .position, .x, so the x position of the player is bigger than transform, .position, .x, then we will set looking right equals to true. So what this does is, if the player position .x is bigger than the turret's position, so